Welcome to Zoom Around Town. Today we are so excited to have Alexander Michael Wong of Upcycled Skate Art. What is Upcycled Skate Art?
Upcycled skate art started as me making different products for events around town and a lot of event Santa Cruz events and Capital R and Wine and things of that nature. It's transformed in a few different ways since it's began. I don't do wholesale products anymore, which was really the foundation of Upcycled Skate Art. I've actually been contemplating rebranding because a lot of what I'm doing now is more geared towards fine art and my personal designs. So while I still do a lot of stuff with recycling of skateboards, and that's a huge focus of what I do and the medium of art in which I work with, it's definitely expanded over the years.
So what kind of stuff were you doing wholesale before you got into the more fine art stuff?
It was originally a lot of coasters, bottle openers, cutting boards, really like home good items, things of that nature, things I could bust hundreds out of.
I've seen some of your work that is not, it's more time consuming. Definitely not a coaster. I mean, like you've done some elaborate like tables and you've even done a surfboard, I think. So
yeah, I'm working on them right now, actually.
So what kind of changed your mind from doing like this kind of like more mass production, though still all handmade, to the more unique one-offs?
Kind of my own happiness. I feel like I came to Santa Cruz to graduate in computer science and economics at UCSC, and I got burnt out really hard, really fast. I realized that wasn't necessarily where I wanted to go with my future, and I was doing woodworking as just a passion, like to relieve stress, and really just decided to like throw myself into that. And so it was like the economic side of me that was really geared towards, wholesaling items, making a lot of them, and, trying to make, whatever overhead I could off of selling a lot of something.
Mm-hmm.
And that also burnt me out really quick. So, when you're a one-man team, and I've had a few people come in for me for short periods of time, but it's difficult to train somebody to do what I'm doing when I'm creating a lot of the processes that I'm doing. So it's not, necessarily traditional. And it's super hard work. So, when you're working 40 hours a week, just, grinding away, making bottle openers and coasters, it's not much fun. So I really started to do different, like what I called passion projects,
Mm-hmm.
and just things that, an idea I had and like wanted to do. And so as I started to put out more of those projects and realize that, people are willing to buy them, they're willing to pay me for my time, and what I value it as, it's just, been able to keep me afloat, and I'm more concentrated on my own happiness and the progress of my artistic career than I am on money right now.
That's really awesome. I mean, I think one of my slogans is like, choose what you love and the money will follow. And like, it maybe not follow immediately, but when you're persistent and you're doing what you love, like it shows up, and that's really cool that you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that you're kind of inventing the process, is that right? Because this is like something that I've never seen before, the kind of artwork that you've done.
I mean, all the many things have been done. I mean, everything's been done in a woodworking sense, in an artistic sense. I feel like there's like that South Park quote, Simpsons did it, which always resonated with me, where like everything's just been done. And it's really just like putting your own spin on things. Like, I'm not the first person to do anything with recycled skateboards. I'm also not the first woodworker. It's combining those things in a fine art sense, where I feel like I am creating a lot of the process, laser inlays, different things of that nature that really haven't been done to the scale of what I'm doing them. And then also it's like when it came to, creating products and stuff like that. It's just inventing the process, creating jigs, making that whole thing easier. And it's that mental muscle memory that I have from making hundreds, if not thousands of them.
So what is some of the stuff that you're working on right now that you're super excited about?
Well, there's one thing that I'm extremely jazzed about, and that is chisels for change. So the world has been a crazy place right now, and I wanted to do something that can help with my time. I mean, we're in Santa Cruz, so we're a pretty awesome place as far as being really liberal and great for the most part. So I didn't want to just like get in the streets and protest here. And I wanted to use my time wisely. So I got together a bunch of my favorite woodworkers on Instagram, asked them all if they'd be interested in doing a project for charity where we donate 100% of the proceeds to Color of Change. So I contacted Two Cherries Tools out of Germany, but they actually have their distribution headquarters in San Francisco. And so I talked to them. They love the idea of me getting a bunch of different artists to customize the handles on their tools. And so they donated us 2 sets of chisels.
Nice.
And then I broke off the handles on all those chisels and then sent them out to the makers with a little like leather ring, which is for padding for when you're striking it with a mallet. I know this makes a lot of sense to you. And what else? Oh, and then I got the most amazing person, Jenny Bauer, to hand engrave ferrules, which are the metal rings that are on the chisel. These are generally used to kind of seat the blade into the handle and keep it from splitting as you're doing that, and to keep it strong again as you're striking it with the mallet. So I got all these people together, and she made these ferrules and engraved them amazingly. Her husband actually took some what's called brass nipples. They're just these like 6-inch connector pieces for plumbing. Dumbest name ever. But he put them on his metal lathe and custom made these to size. And then she engraved them all and sent them back. And then I sent them to everybody. Here, I actually show you them. But we have a raffle going on until the 23rd. And I made some custom boxes for them. Let me see if I can flip this around.
That's so cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so everybody, this is Mike Pekovich, who is absolutely just one of my idols when it comes to fine woodworking and the work that he does. So these are the ferrules I was talking about. Sorry, my hands are disgusting. But she engraved these all by hand. I mean, it's so incredibly well done. Then he made these in a vintage style out of some cocobolo, put some leather on the top. We had another maker, Jason Hibbs, and he did like the embodiment of Fight for Power. So that as a chisel. So he did some brass knuckle chisels, which pairs nicely with the brass ferrule.
Yeah. I love a different take on like, because you didn't give them any, you should just make the handle, and they just did everything so different. So cool.
Yeah, it really allowed everyone to just sort of have fun and do things that speak to their own style.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, this is Chris Cunningham. He is just a master when it comes to the epoxy work and getting that crystal clear finish to it.
That's awesome.
So whoever ends up winning this chisel set's going to end up having a really unique wall piece here.
Oh, that
And then this is one of the ones that I did for it.
Oh, I love the color in there. That's so neat.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
So you have 2 sets, you said?
Yeah, I'm waiting on some magnets for it. I put all these magnets in here so that they just can really seat in there and be safe,
Mm-hmm.
because I engraved all this glass and got stuff on my table. So this way it's a functional art piece, but I figured whoever ends up winning it most likely will mount it on the wall. So I wanted it to look out on the wall while also being accessible, so you can like play with the pieces.
And that's everyone's logo at the bottom there, or on the top?
Yeah. So
Oh,
you can see this is Two Cherries, the chisel company, and then right next to everybody's chisel, right in front of it, is everybody's logo.
wow, that's so how much is it for a raffle ticket, and how do we get one?
They are $10 a piece, and they are on my website, Upcycled Skate Art.
I'm totally gonna get some. So I got super into woodworking when I was in junior high, and
Yes.
I learned how to do hand building stuff and use table saw and use bandsaw, like use all these different types of tools. And um, I made like one of those. One of my projects was I don't know what it's called, but it's like it was a box, and you had to like you would like cut in the inside of the box, and then it was like a musical instrument. I forget what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. And you'd use like a chopstick with like a rubber ball at the end, and then you'd like hit the wood, and it would like make different sounds.
Oh, like
The tongues, the
xylophone?
pieces. What is it called?
Like xylophone?
Kind of, but yeah, but it was like the top looked like this with the different pieces, and then it laid like this, and then it was just a hollow box, and you could play it. It was pretty cool. And then there was like
Oh, rad.
sticks. Yeah, fun
That
stuff.
sounds
Yeah, I think it is such art, and it's so fun because you're manifesting and you're producing these really cool things that you can use or look at, and it's like there's such a sense of accomplishment when you finish, I think, and then people appreciate it, and that's even better.
Yeah, and you get to make some fun sounds with it.
Yeah, totally. And what is one of your favorite things to work on? Do you get commissioned to do projects, or do you just like think up something and say, okay, I'm going to sell this? Or are you wanting to get your pieces in museums, or like kind of where are you with that?
Yes. I do all of that, and the latter is what I'm striving for. Um, I'd say it's probably about 50-50 as far as me just making stuff that I want to make, and then me taking on commissions. Um, I'm pretty lucky that I get enough to where I could be pretty selective about the ones that I want to take, and just do the ones that I really think are going to be a fun project, or either help me hone in some skills that I'm not super confident about. So I use a lot of those projects for that. And then same thing with the passion pieces, the pieces that I just decided to make. But my absolute goal is to start doing galleries, is to get more into my sculpture work, which is what I've been really since like quarantine started. That's what I've been designing more than anything, is creating different designs for sculpture work, working towards a gallery show. And that's really the route that I'd like to see my career in. So we'll see if it ends up going that way, but I'm going to try.
That's awesome. Do you have anything you can share with us in your workshop?
Um, yes and no. I can show you materials, but I can't show you any of what I'm actually working on in the sculpture sense.
Mm-hmm.
But fun things that I have as far as materials is I have we're really lucky being in Santa Cruz. So just the synergy with skateboarding and art is so high, and being here, the skateboarding capital of the world per capita.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
I mean, I'm making that up, but argue with me about it. I think we have a case. So having NHS here, the biggest skateboarding company in the world, is really great. They provide me with their warranty boards, and just recently started providing me with their warranty trucks. Oh, cool. So I have like in boxes here, just like 500 pairs.
Wow.
Of old independent trucks that if you end up sending your trucks in because they break or something like that, they do some testing on them, record the info, and then they end up here.
Nice.
So just have boxes of these. And so you're going to start seeing a lot of welding sculptures made out of
Oh,
different trucks and things like that.
that'll be cool.
Yeah. But that's all I can really share with that. As far as the sculpture stuff, we have a few different ideas going on. Oh, sorry, let me flip this around. But I'm working on 2 different shows right now. One's in Tokyo and the other's in LA. So as I get more information on that, I'll be able to share it. But right now we have to keep it a little under wraps.
That's exciting and something that we get to look forward to. So
Yeah.
we're gonna take a little break and we're gonna hear more about upcycled skate art and Alexander Michael Wong, who is located on 17th and Bromer. So we're really excited to hear more. We're gonna take a quick break. All right, welcome back to Zoom Around Town with Jaimi Jansen, and we are here with Alexander Michael Wong of Upcycled Skate Art, and he was talking to us before the break about some of the art shows that he's going to be doing in LA and Tokyo. So will that be on your website when you hear more and you know more details?
Yeah, I'm so bad at updating my website. But yeah, I'm trying to be better about those things. And it will be on my website because I'm going to be so excited about that. And when that actually comes to fruition, we get 100% started on it. It's going to be very time consuming. So it'll pretty much take me up for the entirety until the show.
So when you do a show like that, how many pieces are you expected to produce, or does it vary?
So this is the first time I've really done a show, period. I've done First Friday things. I mean, I've never even done open studios before because I've always kept my processes a little bit secret. I share a lot of stuff on my Instagram stories and things like that and give away a lot of tips and tricks. But for the most part, I've really kept like the public out of my space and really haven't had a lot of the people or haven't really been able to work on the sculptural and just really fine art pieces that I've been planning for the longest time. So this is going to be the first time going for it. And so I really don't know, but I know that I'm going to make 6 pieces for it.
Wow. Okay. And are these going to be for sale or no?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be for sale.
Cool. And will you be able to have the images on your website, or is it like you have to go to the show? Because now with COVID, like, I don't know if like there's a virtual aspect to the shows, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being after, the world opens up again, whenever that may be. So I don't think anybody's in a super big rush for it. So that's why I don't have like a lot of the information, is we're all just sort of in this limbo phase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was the question?
Oh, like, are the images gonna be on your website so that, or of the
Oh,
artwork so that we can sell it, or you can sell it online, or?
yeah, I don't know.
Right on. And so you're gonna make like maybe you said 6 pieces for each
Mhm.
show, and then you said that'll kind of take you out as far as like your time and everything, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
be super focused on that. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
really know how shows go. I did have a ceramics teacher that worked at Cabrillo College when I was growing up, and she had shows in like San Francisco and stuff. So she'd have like one project or a couple projects she'd be working on. It would be displayed, and then she did other things to kind of like. I mean, she would always sell her pieces, but that's just one product. So she was doing other things to kind of make it work. So you probably have like a backlog of things that you're like products that you'd be selling or pieces that you'd be selling independent of that, right?
Probably. I really have to figure out what our vision for the show is.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna next month about it. Where I'm gonna go out to Utah and talk to them a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not quite sure about all that, but I know I want to give this my full attention because it's sort of my dream in a sense, as far as like where I want to be and where I want my career to go. So I just want to like, give it 100% and all my focus. And I know that the scale of the pieces are going to be much larger than what I'm used to working. So there's going to be a lot of troubleshooting.
It's exciting though, because it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge and something that it sounds like you're excited about. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I love a challenge.
So if I were interested in something that you made, because I think that what you're doing is so cool, how would I go about like finding something? So do I get to say like, this is what I want, will you make it for me? Or do you have stuff on your website that you're just selling that you've just created because you enjoyed creating it? Like, how does that work if I wanted to go about getting something that you've created?
So during the whole COVID times, and I've been doing a lot of thinking and actually updated my website for the first time in forever.
Yay!
So, right. So I'm trying to be more of a social presence. And I don't know, because I often get these questions of how do I even purchase your stuff? And I've never made it easy for people. You basically just have to hound me until I respond to you. And I'm like, yeah, this sounds rad. Let's do it. And then I'll give you a quote and take a deposit and we just sort of get started. But I'm going to start doing monthly drops. So when I make a bunch of different passion pieces of different sizes every month, I'm just going to throw them on the website and have them up for grabs, first come, first serve.
That's a
And
great idea.
then, yeah, so I think that's going to be a big part of my model going forward. And then I'll probably still take on commission orders, here and there, depending on what they are. I'm doing one right now that's really fun, which the entire table is just designed to hold a Lego set.
Oh my gosh,
And
so cool.
right, so they have this giant Millennium Falcon, and it's just a table that holds the Millennium Falcon and looks really rad. I'm gonna do this galaxy epoxy pour, so from the top of it, it looks like it's flying through space, and it's
Wow.
gonna have all LED lights and this glass box around it. So things like that, where it's just like, yes, that sounds like a fun time.
Well, if you're making this amazing like art piece from Lego, it has to have an equally cool stand. You can't just put it on a regular like glass table.
Exactly.
If you're gonna go through all that work, it's just like you just can't. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really cool. Um, yeah, I've seen your stuff and I've been following you. I noticed that you're a little bit more active on social media now, and it's really cool. I know you like interact with your audience. I attempted to, I'm laughing because I wasn't very good at it, but you had like guess the wood, and I was like, oh, I could do this. I had no idea half of the pieces of wood. I was like, oak, birch, I don't, but there's some things I didn't even know, like I didn't even know it existed. So like you work with a lot of different types of wood, probably from all over the world, I would guess, right?
Yeah, I've actually been very lucky in my ability to acquire wood. I've gotten most of it from two different people. One was a set of German woodworkers, the Meyer brothers,
Mm-hmm.
who are incredibly talented,
Nice.
and retired and actually sold me a lot of their tools and the majority of the wood that they had. And so they've had stuff, that was milled 40, 60 years ago. It's just been sitting around forever. A lot of stuff that's super illegal or exotic nowadays. Just, you can't cut those things down, but they've been processed for so long and just sitting in a garage. So the different grains and stuff that I have are incredibly unique. And then I had another guy whose father passed and was a woodworker, and he was actually John Rockefeller's like personal woodworker.
Wow.
And so he, he made the last thing he did was he redid the kitchen in the Rockefeller house in Florida. And so he ended up giving me a bunch of wood and tools that were his dad's. And so my main workbench is made out of the wood from John Rockefeller's kitchen.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Right?
So
It's pretty fun. So
how,
yeah, I love wood,
how,
acquiring wood.
how did they
Feel
find
like
you? How did these people connect with you? How did you like get in touch with them?
they were customers.
Oh,
They saw my work. I think both of them actually found me at the Capitol R and Wine and admired what I was doing in the reuse and upcycling. And I think they were just down to support.
that's so awesome. Um, has social media really changed like the way that you connect with people? Because those people are Florida or wherever, you know? So has social media been the thing that's really connected you, or is there other ways like festivals or art and wine festivals or something like that that really has gotten you clients, or how has that changed, especially with COVID?
I'd say it comes in waves.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of my larger pieces sell in town. So they're, over the hill. Luckily we have a lot of money in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. So it's pretty easy to get larger scale pieces off over there. So a lot of that comes, but then I get a lot of interest in a lot of other smaller jobs and stuff through Instagram, lots of customizations and different things. So it's been interesting because I definitely started fully doing everything through Instagram. Just here's what I have. Do you want this? And people would respond or not. And then it really started turning more into a business. And then, I've gone trying to get away from that, I guess.
Well, I mean, you have a popular product. You definitely need to be posting it, because you can't just not sell what you're doing. It's like you do it. If we don't get to see your beautiful work, you're doing us a disservice. So think about it like that. Like, we have to see it. It's so cool what you're doing, and it's so unique.
Yeah. I feel like there's some elegance to the limited and temporary nature of it.
Mm-hmm,
That, by not showing, even like half of what I do, and just letting it be something like between me and the client, I think it makes it like so much more unique and special. And yeah.
Everything that I've seen, it just blows me away. It's so impressive, the level of detail that you, and the time I'm sure that it takes to do the project. It's just, it's so creative. Like, I would have never thought how, like, something so functional, but yet you're recycling all this stuff. And and then the I could only imagine like how complicated it is to do all those inlays. Like, I mean, I have no idea. I've never done that stuff, but it seems very time consuming, and it's beautiful. The stuff that you come up with is just so amazing. And
Thank you.
I haven't seen like your super creative stuff like you're saying, because haven't been a client yet, but I've seen some tables that you've done, and that surfboard that you did was so cool.
Right. Yeah, I'm working on another surfboard with Ventana right now. We're recreating the 100th surfboard that I did with them. Their most expensive surfboard they ever sold.
Oh, they sold it?
Yeah, it's that one sold 2 years ago, I want to say, and is on display in a hotel in Canada.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no one's using that. No way.
Yeah, they have two of the boards, or both the boards that me and Martine worked on together. There was one that had a bunch of fish on it, and then one that you could see through and had a galaxy pour. And I'm also working on 2 surfboards right now with Locust surfboards.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's so creative and such a great idea. I would put one of those in my living room. I just think they're so cool looking.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. And I could imagine a lot of people like me would want something like that, because it's just the uniqueness of it, and it's just part of the culture that I grew up in Santa Cruz, and like surfing is just part of the culture, and I surf, and so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I actually grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. So my goal in life, or one of my goals in life, is to be the worst surfer in history, to have his name on the most surfboards.
Well, you're on your way.
I'm like going on 4 at 5 a.m.
So if I want to get something commissioned, or if I want to check out your stuff, what was your website again?
Upcycled Skate Art.
Awesome. And so, and how would I join the raffle? So you're doing a raffle, and what does the money go towards?
So the money go towards Color of Change, 100% of the proceeds. I didn't want to take anything from this, and it's really exciting. We've actually raised just over $10,000 for it. But yeah.
And so we can buy a raffle ticket on your website. And when is the deadline?
Oh, so the deadline's the 23rd at midnight. That is your last chance to buy raffle tickets. They're $10 a piece, and they're on my website. Then on the 24th, I'm going to put these all into a program, use a random number generator, and go on Instagram Live and choose the two winners to win the two sets.
That's cool. And since you're a computer science person, I'm sure coming up with some random generation of numbers is just right in your wheelhouse, and I wouldn't even know how to do that.
You literally can type in random generator into Google.
Oh, really? Don't need a computer science major to do that. Have you used your like college degree in any way for like has it integrated at all with your business?
So it's funny. I was just talking about this the other day where I tried writing in code and it didn't turn out very well. So the computer science part of it was never going to happen. But the economics part, yeah, I feel like I've utilized that in different ways as far as my business plan
Mm-hmm.
and what it is like my game of attack. Um, and so that's was very evident in the wholesaling and that business model that I feel like could be very successful if I could bring in a bunch of people, get a bunch of wholesale accounts, and push these all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not what I'm personally interested in.
Mm-hmm. What kind of got you into working with skateboards? Like what was like and how did you even think, okay, I want to be a woodworker or work with my hands and do art?
So in high school, I was the head of two different clubs. I was the head of the skateboarding club and I was the head of the National Art Honor Society.
Cool.
So those two things have always been very important in my life. Um, I was definitely a skate rat in Arizona, and I don't know. My mom was an artist. I have a lot of artists in my family. It was just something that I always understood in some sense and had a lot of fun with in different mediums. So back then, I was doing a lot of colored pencil painting, things of that nature. And then I was doing a lot of ramp building, different things where I'm using wood, would do random jobs for my uncle as a general contractor, and had to constantly use tools and do different things. And I even had a side hustle when I was like 10 years old of like making little boxes for like kids in my school out of like wood that I would just like saw and like put hinges on. So I've always just been around it. And then I think it wasn't until I came to Santa Cruz, I had like gone super out of shape and wasn't doing much art either. And I came to Santa Cruz, was riding my bike up the hill every day, lost like 40 pounds, like really got in shape, and was skating a lot. And that was a big part of it. So I really kind of fell in love with skateboarding again. And I needed some release artistically from school. So I just started making things. And then it just naturally evolved into this, I guess.
Do you use any of your like pencil or any drawing skills now, like maybe to sketch your project, or do you sell any of that kind of artwork, or is it mostly three-dimensional?
I've never sold that type of work. I was never amazing. It was always just fun. I mean, I got decent with some colored pencils. I could blend a Prismacolor pretty decently, but other than that, no.
I'm sure you like sketch your ideas out though, right? Or no?
Yeah, I use SketchUp a lot of. When I first went to school, I went to school for architecture. So I had done some CAD, and like to use technology whenever possible because it's easier
Mm-hmm.
to replicate or change or scale. So a lot of times I'll do them in SketchUp.
Nice.
Every now and then I'll draw it if I don't know, don't want to get off the couch or something.
Well, so computer skills definitely play a role in the production of one of your art pieces. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference between my woodworking and a lot of other people's is I absolutely embrace technology. I love working smarter and not harder. I love the accuracy and the ease that it can provide in certain situations. So, like, just in my shop, I have two different laser printers, or yeah, laser printers, and then a 3D printer. And so, using those for outside the box things whenever I can. I also have a few different ideas where I'm using 3D scanning technology for the art show.
How,
So basically,
how does that work? So
it's
like if I have this watch here, it just like scans it in and then you can like on the computer, it like rotates it like this.
kind of. So me and Martine of Ventana Surfboards actually went and 3D scanned one of the hand planes that he made. So he would make these hand planes and he had this copy router jig. And so it's this like design that he created, and it basically is just doing what a CNC is doing and replicating something. It's actually kind of when you go have a key copied.
Oh, mhm.
It's exactly so it's kind of tracing with one hinged arm an object, so it's recreating it over here.
Okay.
So by doing that, it's just time consuming because you have to constantly be working it.
Mhm.
So we take this scanning wand that was over at Cabrillo College and scan the hand plane. And so then it puts it into the computer as a 3D modeled image. And so then we could tweak it and do different things to make it perfectly symmetrical or whatnot. So now the end goal is essentially creating that physical object and putting it into the computer so then that we could create another physical object out of that. We could
I
make that size we want.
So like if you are going to do a sculpture with the trucks you were showing us, you might scan one of those and then you could duplicate the truck on the computer program and then like create something like that? Would you do something like that?
Yeah, so that was a fun way of modeling it,
Hmm.
figuring out where pieces go and creating a exoskeleton or structure of where my weld point and strength points are. Um, but for the most part, it would be more fun to use that technology to scan that truck and then to make a truck that's 10 feet tall.
Uh, that's pretty cool. And then so it's almost like a roadmap, like your recipe. You get
Yeah,
that and you can see the dimensions of it and you're like, oh, okay, so now I'm going to take this blueprint and I'm going to go make my product.
yeah, so it makes it a scalable 3D image. So now I could mess with different parts of it, scaling it up or down, stretching it in any ways that I want. But often the main point is just to recreate exactly what you're scanning. You know, you want to scan an apple, and then you want to have that apple cut perfectly out of that piece of wood or something like that, or be bigger and perfect.
Mhm. Oh,
So
that's
things like that.
technology really does play a good role in what you're doing. I mean, it allows you to do things that maybe 20 years ago, there's no way people could have done that, you know?
No, I mean, there's definitely ways. It's just way more time consuming.
Right. So how is it in the community of woodworking and art? Like is it a collaborative thing? Are people really competitive? I mean, you said that you kind of, some of your processes you're very private about. So how is it with other artists?
Um, there's a lot of all of that, I feel like, and it depends which community. I mean, there's always going to be, it's Instagram and it's art, so there's always going to be this look at me nature,
Mhm.
and I feel like I have a hard time with that, which is why like I don't like to show a lot of my stuff. I'll go months at a time without posting on Instagram, just because like I don't know. It's not about me, it's about it for
Mhm.
me personally. But it's not like that for everybody, I don't feel. So, you know, people egos and respect and so many things factor into it. So it's such a there's so many levels of gray. Everybody is so different, and it's really hard to peg as saying like, oh, like this community, whether it be art or woodworking, is more geared towards, being crabby than, collaborative.
Right.
Uh, but there's definitely both types in everywhere you go. But I definitely try to be positive, and I like to do the collaborative route. I like to do stuff with other woodworkers. I'm even trying to do stuff with other recycled skateboard woodworkers because we have a lot of the same interests, and we're doing the same stuff, but there is that competitive nature all the time that's just kind of lurking there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's always in the back of everybody's mind as far as those things go. But I just want to have fun.
Well, I think if that's your intention, is having fun, I think that the competitive stuff doesn't have to be the bully in the conversation. It doesn't have to be on the forefront. And like, sure, it can always be there, but it just sounds like you seem to be a pretty laid back, awesome dude. So I think that like, if that's the vibe that you're putting out, that's hopefully what you're going to be getting back.
Yeah. I mean, generally, that's what I surround myself with.
Well, there you go. Well, Alexander, Michael, it was so long. It was so great to talk to you, and thanks so much for letting us into a day in your shop, looking behind you at all the cool stuff. You do some really incredible stuff, and it's so neat that you're contributing to the, creating that raffle so that we can put that money toward a good cause. So please go to his website, upcycledskateart.com, and he's a local Santa Cruz, located at Bromer and 17th, that's where your workshop is, right?
It is.
Awesome.
Come on by. Probably won't find me, but if you see a bunch of graffiti, you're at the right place.
And then how would we follow you on Instagram?
So everything is pretty easy in the sense that Upcycled Skate Art. Instagram, email is upcycledskateart@gmail. Website is upcycledskateart.com. So you'll be able to find me pretty simple as long as you can remember that.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to seeing more of your work randomly appear on Instagram and on your website so people can really celebrate the work that you do. And I want to hear more about the shows as they come closer and you get ready for them.
Oh, I will definitely be sharing and start, getting your knowledge up for the wood quizzes because you can explore that.
That's really fun. It like made my brain work in a different way, and it was really cool. So please keep doing the engagement like that on Instagram. It was neat.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, have a great day. Thanks again.
You have a great day.
All right.
Bye.